Hello, this is tutorial number 2. I started tutorial number 1, and this is basic. This is for ultra beginners. So if you know anything about LMMS, and if you are in any way proficient, this is useless to you because you already know this information. But if you've just opened up this program, if you've just opened it up, uh, this is some advice, not on how to write a song. This is advice on how to take a tutorial. Because when I used to take tutorials, I was lost. I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand like what buttons they were pushing. I didn't get it. So this is for ultra beginners so that you know what's going on. If you have not seen the first tutorial, I recommend that you go back, watch my first tutorial, and then come here. Now the next thing that we're going to do is really I'm going to apply. I'm not just going to show you like what knobs, sliders, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to actually apply it so you can see what I'm doing as I give you the nomenclature. So what we're ultimately going to do right now is we're going to augment a note. So in the first tutorial, I showed you that you can touch this little gray box and get your sample sound. You can also touch this little gray box and hit your sample sound. And currently, both of these sounds are the same because we have not augmented either of them. Piano 1 is going to stay the same, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to close this particular window. We're going to keep piano number 2 because we're actually going to fuck with it a little bit. So we're going to come over here to FX, open up the FX window, and that's going to open up in the audio file processor. Now we're going to add an effect. And I'm adding an effect which is going to have a considerable change so that you can see how far away from the actual note you can actually go. And the point of this is you can go so far away, but you can actually augment it very incrementally to where you don't actually change the full note. You don't actually change it so much, but I'm going to make a drastic change here just to show you how far away you can go from the actual note with just one effect. Okay. Now the biggest thing, if a lot of people who I've spoken with say, well, I just do what the person in the fucking video tells me what to do. That's fine. You're supposed to do that at first, and then you're going to come back and find out what you want to do yourself. So I'm going to show you what all those people who actually made those videos did before they actually made a video. Okay, what you want to do is you want to turn each specific knob to an extreme. Then you want to test the note and see how it has changed that particular note, how it has changed that particular sound. And that's going to make sense here in a minute. So first, we're going to hit the original note and just hear it. So now we're listening to that original note. Now we're going to crank this up. And okay, once you've chosen a control, it's going to put it in your effects chain, and then it's going to give you the knobs to control whatever sounds that you're trying to. Now, you're going to left click it, hold it, and then push up. Crank it all the way up. Now we're going to listen to our sound. And that has a wobbly effect. Now, there was a factory preset, there was a default. We're going to take it back to that default by going to this particular knob, right click it, and then hit reset. And then it automatically goes back. Now we're going to go to our next knob. We're going to left click it, push it up, crank it all the way up. Now we're going to take a listen. And this one kind of has it's a phaser, so it's also like a pulse. So the phaser is going to take it from your left eardrum to your right eardrum. through your controls. So just keep that in the back of your mind. It might be something, it might be a desired effect for you as you're writing your song. Spread. Left click it, crank it all the way up, hold it, left click it, listen. Now this one seems to hold the peak of the note for a longer amount of time. The sound doesn't die out as quickly. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now we're going to right click on this and then we hit reset. Now feedback, this is the most dramatic part. Anytime you see a feedback, that's where you're going to experience a lot of change in any note, any instrument that you are piecing together as you are, putting four on the floor. And by four on the floor, I mean, four on the floor, four instruments. Like a normal band, at least a rock band, is going to have a drum kit, a bass, a lead guitar, and a rhythm guitar. That's four on the floor. And then you're going to put your singer on. So that's five on the floor. But we're talking about instruments right now. So that's four on the floor. Okay, before I even do that, y'all are just going to have to trust me, and I'm going to explain this later. I'm going to take my master volume down. And then I'm going to crank my feedback all the way up. And left click it, hold it, push it forward. Now we're going to listen. And like I said, that is a very dramatic difference. So you can come over here and test. This is the original sample. And this is what we've augmented it to thus far. So yeah, that's a very dramatic difference. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it down a little bit by holding it with my left mouse button and dragging it backwards. I'm going to take a listen now. That's not as dramatic. We'll take it up a little bit. And that's still fucking grating at my ears, but that's a good little change for you to see. Now we're going to X out of this. We're going to X out of this. Okay. Now we're going to talk about your controls and your slider controls. Piano 2 is I'm not even going to hit it because it is crazy loud and it's going to hurt your eardrums. Piano 1 is normal. And you can take down your volume by left mouse clicking, hold it down, and then drag it backwards. And you can see the volume is decreasing when you drag it backwards. Okay, that's one way to do it. Whenever you're dealing with these knobs, you can always reset it by hitting your right mouse button and then hit reset, and then it comes back to normal. But you can also do this, double left click, and you're going to open up your volume control, and you can actually manually go ahead and delete your value, and then you can manually insert your value using your keypad. So now it's at 50%, and you're going to watch this volume knob here change as soon as I hit OK. Okay, now here, this is called a slider or a fader, and this is also another volume control. With your slider or your fader, I'm going to call it a slider, you can reset it the same way you reset this. Right click on it, hit reset, and now it jumps back up to normal. You can do the same thing that you did with this one. You go double left click. Now you've opened up this window. Go into the box, but this is slightly different. This is based on a value of between 0 and 100. This is based on a value between 0 and 200. So if you want to go to you're going to take this down essentially to 50, which essentially is the same thing. Actually, you're probably going to take this down to a value of 25. But what I'm going to do right now, just to show you, yeah, I'll just take it down to 25. And take this down to a value of 25. And you're going to watch this drop. Bam. So it went down to a value of 25. We don't want that at a value of 25 right now, though, because we already decreased this volume. If you decrease all the different volumes, it's going to get lower and lower and lower. So you want to find out which particular level of the game you want to decrease your volume of a certain instrument. So we're going to come back to the master, and you want to keep the master at 100 at all times. You want to decrease the other values as you're going along. You're going to right click on this particular slider. You're going to hit reset, and that's fine. Now we're going to take a listen. And I hope your eardrums don't blow out, because that's the original. And that's how we've augmented it. So it's a slight difference. And the point isn't so much the difference. The point is that you know how the knobs and the sliders work. And when you're taking a tutorial, you're not behind the game because you don't understand how the person giving the tutorial is making it happen. So again, we're going to single left click on this instrument and open up our audio file processor. We're going to come to this instrument. We're going to open up our audio file processor. Move this over. And we have piano 1 synced up to piano 1 here. Piano 2 synced up to piano 2 here. We have piano 1 on this channel, channel 1. We have piano 2 on this channel 2. And when we listen to the different sounds, this is the original sound, and this is the augmented sound. And actually, just to give you a more dramatic effect, I can take it even further, just to impress upon you exactly what's going on. We're going to open up piano 2, FX. We're going to hit controls, double left or one left click, and we're going to take the feedback all the way up. Now we're going to listen to the difference. Piano 1, piano 2. So this is how you play around with LMMS. If you need it spoon fed to you, I don't know if this is the right place for you, because you have to play around with this by yourself. And if you love music, then it's not going to be a big deal for you. I appreciate your watching. I'll see you next time.